your state. I believe strongly that this is probably the first of its kind in the whole of Nigeria. And I authoritatively can say this. Somebody mentioned that a senior specialist with IITA. I'm actually working as the head of agribusiness for Sub-Saharan Africa for IITA, which means that I have insights to what is going on in terms of agribusiness across the whole of Sub-Saharan Africa. And that informed my empirical knowledge in relation to the fact that I've stated with regards to Farm Connect today. I had been here before this commissioning. I'd interacted with the, I don't know if the title of CEO that they use here now, Mr. Aziz. And I've seen what this can do in terms of creating a change and dynamics in the agribusiness space, not just in Nigeria, but in Sub-Saharan Africa. We are aware that this meeting was supposed to start by 12 o'clock. So I must first of all apologize that we came a little bit late, but we didn't come late without informing the organizer. He's aware that we're going to be here by 2 o'clock. I was in a webinar that was scheduled with the International Director, Institute of Nigeria, and I was one of the key speakers there. As a matter of fact, I had to leave the webinar and take excuse 30 minutes to the end of the program. The Chief of Staff himself was running from another program to come here right away from another program where has been attending a state function. So, as you have all known, that this is a government that doesn't take its citizens lightly. So our apology for coming late. We were late because we were attending some other important state functions, you know. I think it's important to mention that Oyo State has ensured that they prioritize agriculture or agribusiness as one of the major focus of the government. I believe that those that has been following the trend of things within the state in the past 2 years will have had categorically that His Excellency, the Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Oluwaseyi Makinde, has made it known in different fora that there are 4 critical areas that the state is focusing on, not in to neglect of others, but that are being prioritized. And these 4 areas captured the 5 strands of development in terms of the human, the physical, the environmental, the social, and economical development as well. Those 4 areas of focus are education, health, security, and expanded economy. The expanded economy has been well highlighted to be built on agribusiness within the state. Meaning that agriculture is taking the space within the state that is beyond what it was known for in the past. Of course, not just agriculture, there are other areas like mineral resources and all others as well, and tourism. But narrowing down to agriculture, which is the core of the expanded economy, when His Excellency, the Governor of Oyo State, ambitioned this, we also, as a state, came together sometimes late 2019, and we worked together to develop a strategy for the state in relation to how we want to go about this. In doing that, we recognize, as part of all what we also understood, that one of the challenges that we have been facing, and not just in Oyo State, but across board, is that the key players in agriculture up until now, or up until then, of course many of us probably knows that, are smallholder farmers, which form close to around 70% of those that are producing over 90% of what we are consuming as a nation. Now, what is known is that smallholder farmers generally are classified as micro enterprises. In any nation, micro enterprise do not grow an economy of a country or a state directly. The best that a micro enterprise could do is to support social capital, meaning that the micro enterprise, regardless of what field of life they are, will be able to pay their children's fees, will support house rent, and all what have you in terms of social capitals. But for them to grow the economy of a country, that is not been seen somewhere directly, anywhere. So what we've done as a state was to reclassify our approach and the kind of clients that are required within the state. And in so doing, we, in addition with the smallholder farmers, prioritize our need to focus towards the small, medium, and large enterprises in agribusiness within the state. In any country, including the most advanced economy, like the United States, as well, what grows the economy of a country of such a nature and expand their horizon in terms of an employment generation is mostly the small, medium enterprise, not even the large ones. So we decided that this is essential, and in so doing, we need to ensure that we put in place the apparatus that is going to support such an area. And by so doing, the state established what we refer to as the Oyo State Agribusiness Agency that is focused on the small, medium, and large enterprises within the state. That is not to the neglect of the smallholder farmers that are still continuing to be supported by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development within the state. So the functions still continue as it were. It's just an addition of responsibility that we're giving to the Oyo State Agribusiness Development Agency known as OYSADA, that I happen to be the first Director General. Now, what that means is this, that we either need to support the current micro enterprise to grow to become the small and medium enterprise within the state, or we create an environment to attract more of small and medium enterprises across the value chain of agriculture to come to the state. In doing so, there are some structural challenges that are generally well known in driving small and medium enterprise, so private sector within the state. The first one is the policy. Do you have the right kind of a policy to engage? Actually, I don't think the first one is the policy. I think the first one is the leadership. Do you have the right kind of a leadership in place? The second one is policy. Do you have the right kind of a policy that is adaptable to the private sector within that state? And then, have you created the enabling environment to attract such private sector to drive what is expected within the state? In so doing, again, as I mentioned, the agency was created. We're blessed or lucky, to have a leader that now prioritizes agriculture and that is the champion of that agriculture. So, by the way, this agency reports directly to the governor of the state. It sits under the governor's office. So, for him to be able to provide the right kind of a high-level support that is required. So, in terms of leadership, we have it. In terms of policy, I mentioned earlier that we gathered together sometimes in 2019, and this includes all the ministries in the state. Just because of agriculture, the job of a private sector. Private sectors will be invited, diverse of them, to manage a good number of all this that is being built within this infrastructure, within these hubs. But it will be done jointly at a higher level with us as a state. We'll be a shareholder based on our investment within all this region, and we invite a good numbers of you to come and take ownership. Processing centers, ICT hub like this, and all what have you. That is the public sector built and private sector managed. The second one is the private sector developed and public sector supported. And one of those is where we are today. So this is where the state policy, the state enabling environment has created the opportunity for private sector to get developed and to start things on their own. And they come to us and say, this is what we've been able to do as the private sector. However, these are good numbers of exogenous factors that we don't have control over, that we need your support as a state. We'll review what you have done. And as a public sector and as a government, once we see that it is worth the while, we'll provide that kind of a support for you to thrive. In that kind of an environment, the state government is not a shareholder in your company, because in reality, what we are building is public infrastructure. And that is one of the ones that we are standing in today. And of course, the last one is where we mentioned the issue of smallholder farmer cost sharing. What that means is that annually, we'll be supporting a good numbers of farmers based on our projection of crop production within the state. And those numbers of farmers will, of course, have some kind of an expenditure to what they are doing, but the state will also support them. We did that last year. We supported close to around 9,300 farmers, of course, parametric. With their data, we have them. This year, again, we have been able to access two major projects, one that is referred to as NCare by the World Bank, that will be supporting close to around 6,000 farmers again. And all we will do is to assess what is their need, and we'll provide those resources. Again, I think it's good to mention that critical to our plan is the development that takes place through youth. I think this is actually a no-brainer for us as a state. We do understand that the smallholder farmers that we have, their generation are quite old, but the younger generation need to take over. For them to take over, we need to ensure that we provide the right kind of a support, the right kind of a training, the right kind of a development at this stage, and motivation for them as well. We are currently working with the Central Bank of Nigeria to see what we can do with AADS, with close to around 1,000 farmers within the state. I can rightly tell you that sometimes within this quarter, 1,000 farmers, youth entrepreneurship, agribusiness project will be launched within this state, where 1,000 farmers will benefit from support from the state government. In addition to that, we look beyond that, and we have seen that once we have a generation of a bridge builder, which are the young ones, the youth that we mentioned, we also need to look at the generation that are going to come after them. And I believe a good number of us will have heard about this project called the Start Them Early program we're talking about. We need to focus on what we refer to as precision agriculture, beyond what we have currently been doing. If we truly want to be a hub for agribusiness across board, if we truly want to be a hub for agribusiness in sub-Saharan Africa, we need to challenge ourselves to go beyond just the normal and the usual, and put in place technology that is adaptable for agriculture. We need to put in place the technology that will allow us to enhance our capacity and to create sustainability in terms of agribusiness. We need to put in place the kind of technology that will ensure the younger generation to want to be involved in agriculture. You are what they call the ICT generation. And the reality is that you know much more than we do. I like giving an example of my young daughter. She's around 7 years of age now. I think I was savvy in ICT until I sat with this young girl, and this is what you can't normal. But for me, it wasn't. I never knew you can talk to telephone. Okay? All what I normally do is to type on telephone, and So one day she took my phone when I went to stay with them, and she just mentioned, "Hello, Google." I was looking at her like this. What is he Googling? And she just mentioned so, and so. And I saw the thing coming up. I was looking at it like this. The next thing I had is, "Hello, Google, where are they selling so clothes?" I said the next thing would be that, "Hello, Google, where is my daddy's bank card?" And then, "Hello, Google, what is the PIN card?" Before you know it, "Hello, Google, please bring all those things to my house." So in reality, I learned from her something that you think might be very small, and that has been helping me as well. That's your generation, And we believe that working with you will create a change in these states as it should be. I can't say, I heard your CEO saying thank you earlier. I said, no, we should rather thank you for bringing such an innovative technology to this state. We should rather say thank you to you for being bold enough to take this initiative. To be honest with you, I don't know if I'm this bold, because this is a great initiative. This is a great resources, and we know how much of this will benefit the state. I can't but stop encouraging you. You said I've encouraged you much. No, I don't think I've encouraged you enough. I will encourage you much more, because in reality what you've done is actually quite amazing. And I believe, for us as a state, I've told you, we're going to partner with you in this. We're going to ensure that we patronize you where we need to patronize you, and we are going to ensure that this becomes sustainable. The model we are working with in the state, the model we are working with in the state is what we call the public-private and development partnerships. I believe a lot of you will probably have heard of the public and private partnerships, which is the public sector or private sector. But for us, we understand the role of development partners, where we refer to the donor development partners and the technical development partners. What we have not promised as a state, and I'm reiterating this again today, is that we as a state will do it alone. What we have promised as a state is that we will create an enabling environment for private sector to thrive, and those private sector will drive the economy. I'm never a supporter of a government that said we are going to create jobs, we are going to do OES, we are going to do OM, we are going to do OZ. You are limited as a state government. Your responsibility, either as a government, at the state or federal level, is to create the enabling environment for private sector to thrive, for them to create that employment for young people to get into. It is not your job to create employment. Once you do what you need to do by creating the enabling environment, put the right kind of a policy in place, you will see such private sector like Farm Connect thriving within your state. And this is exactly what we are seeing today. It's only God knows how many numbers of people that this company has employed. If the state employed this number, I believe they will by now have been searching their pocket to know what is going on. Again, I want to say a big congratulations to Farm Connect. I want to say a big congratulations to you, not just an individual, but to all of your team. Because I've seen that, especially knowing that you do a lot. So, once again, congratulations. Thank you very much rather than thanking us. And may God, in His infinite mercy, grant you wisdom to continue to lead this company. Thank you.